Have you ever wondered about the current state of India's education system? It's a vast entity, a complex tapestry woven with the threads of tradition, innovation, challenges, and possibilities. Education in a nation as diverse and dynamic as India holds the key to a brighter future. It's the magic wand that can transform the lives of millions, opening doors to opportunities and empowering individuals to rise above their circumstances. Yet, the system faces hurdles. Issues like lack of foundational literacy and numeracy, a rigid subject-based approach, and an acute need for skill development are prevalent. Enter the National Education Policy 2020, or NEP 2020, a comprehensive and ambitious policy poised to revolutionize the education landscape of India. It promises to address these challenges, fostering an environment conducive to holistic learning and growth. So, what does NEP 2020 bring to the table? Let's delve into it. The NEP 2020 has some promising features that could potentially transform the landscape of education in India. Firstly, the policy places an emphasis on foundational literacy and numeracy. It aims for universal proficiency by the age of 14. This is a crucial reform considering India's current scenario where a significant number of children are unable to read and write even after completing primary school. The second pro is the multidisciplinary approach to learning. The NEP 2020 proposes a shift from the traditional subject-based approach to a more comprehensive, multidisciplinary one. This will empower students with a broader understanding of the world and equip them with the skills to apply knowledge from various disciplines to solve real-world problems. Thirdly, the NEP 2020 aims to integrate vocational education and skill development into mainstream education. This move is anticipated to provide students with the necessary skills to thrive in the job market, even if they opt not to pursue higher education. Next, the policy underscores the importance of high-quality teacher training and development. Teachers play an instrumental role in shaping the future of the country, and this increased investment in their training is a welcome move. Lastly, the NEP 2020 aims to decentralize the education system and provide more autonomy to schools and teachers. This decentralization is expected to make the education system more responsive to the needs of the local community. These are just some of the promising features of NEP 2020. The policy is comprehensive, forward-thinking, and has the potential to revolutionize the education system in India. It acknowledges the importance of foundational skills, values multidisciplinary learning, emphasizes vocational education and skill development, invests in teacher training, and promotes decentralization and autonomy. These positive aspects of NEP 2020 certainly paint a promising picture. But what about the other side of the coin? Let's delve into that in our next segment. While NEP 2020 is ambitious and comprehensive, it does have its share of challenges and potential issues. Let's delve into these to provide a balanced perspective. Firstly, the implementation of NEP 2020 is no small feat. It's a mammoth task that requires a significant investment in education, both in terms of finance and human resources. Ensuring that the infrastructure is in place to support the policy's goals is a significant hurdle. It's not just about building more schools, but also about ensuring that the schools are equipped with the necessary resources and that the teachers are trained to deliver the new multidisciplinary curriculum. A second potential stumbling block lies in the language directive. NEP 2020 recommends that the medium of instruction up to grade 5 should be the child's mother tongue or regional language. While this approach has its merits, it also presents a logistical challenge. In a country as linguistically diverse as India, developing teaching materials and training teachers in multiple languages is a significant task. There's also the question of how this approach will impact students who may move to a different state with a different language. Equity concerns also come into play. Critics argue that NEP 2020 does not sufficiently address the need for inclusive education or the provision of special support for students from disadvantaged backgrounds. The focus on foundational literacy and numeracy vocational education, and skill development is commendable. But it's equally important to ensure that these opportunities are accessible to all students, regardless of their socio-economic background. Lastly, the policy's emphasis on decentralization and autonomy, while positive, could potentially lead to disparities in education quality across different regions, depending on how effectively they manage and implement these new reforms. Clearly, while NEP 2020 has its strengths, it also has its fair share of challenges. The key to its success lies in how these challenges are addressed. The journey of transforming India's education system is a marathon, not a sprint. The real test of NEP 2020's effectiveness will be in its execution, not just in its vision. So, where does this leave us with NEP 2020? Let's take a moment to reflect on what we've discussed. The National Education Policy 2020, or NEP 2020, is an ambitious and comprehensive policy that could potentially revolutionize India's education system. It's a policy that aims to tackle issues head-on and bring about much-needed reform. A key aspect of NEP 2020 is its emphasis on foundational literacy and numeracy skills, with the goal of achieving universal proficiency by the age of 14. This focus could help address the current situation where many children are unable to read and write even after completing primary school. The policy also proposes a shift towards a multidisciplinary approach to learning, stepping away from the traditional subject-based approach. This change could help students develop a broader, more holistic understanding of the world and equip them with the ability to apply knowledge from different disciplines to real-world problems. NEP 2020 also recognizes the importance of vocational education and skill development, with plans to integrate these into the mainstream education system. This focus could provide students with the skills they need to be successful in the job market, regardless of whether or not they choose to pursue higher education. However, we also need to acknowledge the potential challenges of implementing NEP 2020. It's an ambitious policy that will require significant investment and resources. The language issue, where the medium of instruction up to grade 5 should be the mother tongue or regional language, could present challenges in states with multiple languages. And there are valid concerns about whether the policy does enough to address equity issues such as inclusive education and support for students from disadvantaged backgrounds. Despite the challenges, it's important to note that NEP 2020 is still in its early stages of implementation. We must stay informed and engaged with the developments in this policy, as it has the potential to impact millions of young lives in India. As we watch the implementation of NEP 2020 unfold, it's crucial to remember that the success of any policy lies not just in its vision, but in its execution. The future of India